Your father was a great warrior and a good husband, but he was not a strong chieftain to his clan. As he travels to join his brothers in the halls of Valhalla, you must take his place. Our clan is beset by petty squabbles. Some amongst our people would contest your claim to leadership, as they saw discord, our neighbors' plot against us.
We're sitting down with Logic Artists to get a look at the new Expeditions Viking. So take it away, Alex. Show us the game.
Sure. First of all, thanks for coming by, guys. Expeditions Viking is a turn-based historical RPG game with a big taste of strategy in it for combat and whatnot. And what we wanted to do was kind of run you through some of the first steps that players are going to be taking in the game. And so we've got this nice build here for you, and the first thing that we were going to show you is our character creation screen. So you get an option to customize your character in a variety of different ways. You can have a normal build, sort of a bit more of a wiry, thin build, or a much larger, burly size build, and those work both for the male and female characters so that you can customize your size any way you want. As well, we've got a number of other delightful things, like what's particularly exciting for me is the variety of beards that you can select. You know, Viking.
Gotta have that in a Viking game.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Vikings were known for their grooming and their beard work, and we wanted to make sure that players could get the opportunity to kind of, especially if they can't grow a particularly rich and full beard, you know.
Not everyone is as well endowed there.
There are bonuses and penalties to having hair like this. But anyway, so what I was thinking I would do is just kind of show you a couple things here. We've got some hair color, and you can get a bit more tanned, a bit more pale, depending on what region of Denmark you feel like your character's in, or if they're a bit more of a farmer. We've also gone and put quite a few traditional Norse Viking names in the game, so if you don't have an idea of what you want to name your character, you can kind of just roll through the randomness of this and pick something that fits for you.
Any jokes that you've included there, or?
Often we have in the past put a couple of things in if people end up typing in particular character names, but those will be Easter egg surprises that you'll have to wait for on release. Okay, so now I'm going to take you over to the stats and skills section of character creation. One of the things we're doing in this game, you know, Expeditions Viking is you know, a sequel, or more of like a second game in the series to a game we released in 2013 called Expeditions Conquistador, and that was a bit more strategy heavy. And the thing that we're doing in this game is, like we're showing you here, we're allowing you to actually create a character that you're going to be playing and controlling inside the game world. And we wanted to make sure that you get the full experience of an RPG, so we've got a number of stats as well as a number of skills that you're going to be able to allocate points towards at the beginning of the game. And instead of breaking the game down into character classes, like a lot of RPGs have, you know, fighters, rogues, you know, clerics, that sort of thing, we're a historically themed game, so what we thought we would do is make it a little bit more open and fluid, and we give you a description here in the character creation that will get you an idea of what type of character you're building. So what I was thinking is maybe we could make a character together that would be something that you would like to generally play in an RPG. So what are you more like? Are you more of a frontline fighter, hack and slasher? Or are you a bit more ranged and rogue-like? What do you?
That's a funny question, because typically, you know, I take this sort of the road of sort of a warrior type, barbarian type, but I always find after playing about half the game that I probably should have picked the mage, you know, so because that's the gameplay that I do enjoy the most. But so I guess if we could go with something that's a little bit more of a ranged fighter, something like that.
That's great. Well, one of the things that we've got set up here in the build we got for you today is some different weapon skills that we can put together. And if we're going to go ranged, I'm going to select the bow. All of the weapon skills and things like that are based around the historical accuracy. So, you know, we've
no fireballs.
No fireballs, no. But we will have witchcraft. But witchcraft is more of a superstitious manipulation more than genuine magic. Somebody who practices witchcraft in this game would use poisons and you know, spores and things like that to induce hallucinations, buffing and debuffing the characters. Okay, so I've taken some bow work, and what we're going to want to do is use some perception here, and we're going to jack that up a bit. And as you can see in the description section here, now it's changed our character description, so we've grown to be a keen man, as we can see here. If I take that down, all right, it changes back to sort of the middle round, and if I go up with strength, we become a strong and keen man, because we've got a bit of this. But I think that we're going to want probably lots of boosts for accuracy, and then maybe we'll take, we'll do a couple of reductions here just so we can have some extra HP in case we get into trouble.
Yeah.
And then over here in the skill section, I've taken a few in bow. I think I'm going to grab one in the shield just in case we have to get defensive. And then over here, I've got a bunch of passive skills, and we can find something else like Fortune Favorite, extra crit chances, which are always fun. What else have we got here? Keen Eye, which is an armor piercing as well. So we take that, and then also we allow you to allocate your skills at any time, or your skill points at any time. So I'll just take it as that is right now.
Can you reallocate them in the game, or?
Yeah, you are able to bring stuff sort of up and down, but generally what we're trying to do, I mean, we're playing with the idea of being able to actually just respec, but what usually happens is if you spec into something, you get some skill points back, but you'll get a bit of a penalty. But if you don't spend them, you can save them up, and that's something you have to do to unlock some of the combat skills that are higher level. So. Yeah, so while that's going on there, maybe we can talk a little bit about
shields.
A little bit about shields, or a little bit about the premise or sort of story of the game. The idea is that you have, as the player character, just inherited this Viking village. Your father has died while away on a raid, and now the the leadership of the village, the chieftain, has fallen upon you. So now we start the game. This is actually the beginning of the game. We started off in your longhouse, and the characters around here are all coming to pay respect to your father. This is the actual night of his funeral feast. We have some representatives from the different tribes and clans that surround you, and so what we do is we get you to sort of go around in here, and they introduce themselves, and you get a little bit of an idea of the world as it exists around you here.
And we are skipping through the dialogue here for sake of brevity.
Yeah, just exactly for timing. We do like to write a lot in our games, and we feel like that is something that is wonderful for allowing players to tap into their imagination and build up the game world from within. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to equip my inventory. We've got a bow here that we've just received, and we can also get some secondary weapons set up in case somebody comes in a little too close for us and we don't want to be firing a ranged weapon while they're super close, because they'll get an attack of opportunity. So in the story here, what's happened is that a family of farmers have come by during this feast, and they've challenged us to fight them. Basically because they disagree with our new leadership role in the clan. And so we're going out there to kind of put them in their place. Hopefully, anyway. We'll see how it goes. So here we are, and our combat is all hex-based, turn-based combat. And as you can see here, when you have your character selected, it'll give you these two different sort of color sets for the hexes. The green ones are hexes you can move into while still being able to have another action in the round. But if you move into the yellow section, then that counts as a double move, and then you won't be able to do something. Let's see. Here's our character, and we've got our bow out. And what I was thinking we would do is we would use this skill that we've unlocked by speccing for bow. It's called Quick Shot. Gives us 2 attacks per round instead of 1. So I'm going to try and take this guy Ottar. Weaken him a little bit with our arrows. Here we go. We've got 1 shot in. Pretty good. And we missed the second one. And then I've got a couple of members in our party now. 2 of our clansmen here, Nefia and Ketil, are your most trusted allies in the clan, friends of yours since you were children. And then Aslife is a character who is a strong warrior whose family, the leadership of the tribe or of the clan, has rotated or flip-flopped back and forth between your families for many years. So there's a bit of tension between you and him, but he is, bound by honor to defend the clan. So here Here we go. And Cadel is also a ranged fighter, so we're going to use a couple more arrows here to see if we can take Oddar down. And we've missed, unfortunately. And missed again. And so what I'm going to do is... Uh-oh. Well, opportunity for me to show you off the attack of opportunity. What happens is if you move into a melee range with another character, an enemy character, and then shift either away from them or even around them, it incurs this attack of opportunity, which is basically a free hit, a free attack for them on you on your turn. So it gives us a little bit of a disadvantage.
So what determines the outcome there? Is it your character stats and their character stats, and then a dice roll, or?
For attack of opportunity? The attack of opportunity is basically, it's sort of a punishing attack, right? It's for making a mistake or having to draw yourself out of a poorly positioned kind of location. So what'll happen is the character who's attacking will basically have an attack roll. In melee, you always hit, but characters have the ability to do things like block or do reductions or have a dodge, that sort of thing. And that and so basically percentage hit chance only applies for range. And so I've spent all of my sort of attack actions here, and you can see I've still got these move actions available. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to position some of my characters around in ways that hopefully I will draw the enemies into some attacks of opportunity. Hopefully they're going to try to pass me in some of these positions. We'll see what happens here. So here we've just gotten one there. It's nice, and Aslav is very strong, so it's a... And what you saw there was Aslav got this attack of opportunity on the first character, but then you only get one attack of opportunity per round. So the second character was actually able to pass by him in that situation, and that is a strategic maneuver that you can use. You know, you can maybe send one of your tankier characters through a space where they're going to draw some of those attacks, and then maybe put one of your, you know, sort of DPS, like hard-hitting, more damage-based characters through that same area without having to deal with the threat. So now, our character, who's a ranged character, if we attack right now this way, we're going to end up, you know, incurring this attack of opportunity from him. So I'm going to switch weapons, and I'm going to do a melee attack here. And there we go. We've gone quite well there, and I'm going to try to finish this fellow off with a ranged attack, just like this. So what we've done here is just skipped ahead a little bit in the game. Because what I wanted to show you guys was this dueling system that we have. So what's happened within the story right now is that Aslav, one of these characters we've talked about slightly earlier, who is a strong fighting member of another family inside of your clan, has challenged you to duel for leadership, and you've accepted the challenge at this point. And now we have to do a battle of 3 shields. So we have to knock or destroy the shield of the opponent, or basically knock them down in this scenario 3 times for us to succeed, and then have leadership of the clan. It is a little bit of a harder challenge as a ranged character right now, because we have a couple of dirty tricks that we're going to be allowing you to do a little bit later in development, to give, to sort of sway the tide of the battle. And allow you to use your wits a little bit more if you're not really spec'd for melee combat as he is. But we're going to try and overcome him anyway at this point, and just see what happens. I mean, I'm hoping that I'll be able to defeat him, but we'll have to see. So one of the things I'm going to do here is, after I talk to him, we also give you the option of letting one of your Huskarls, one of your followers, take place, like fight in your place as your champion. But today I think I would like to have the opportunity and excitement of potentially failing epically in front of you guys. So,
no pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. So, right now, I'm going to switch over to our bow again. And as you can see, we've got enough room here in the green tiled area that he would be able to move up and attack us here quite easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sort of jog him around a little bit. And it's going to mean a little bit of a bit more of a range challenge. I've only got 68% chance to hit now, and that's going to get reduced if I pick quick shot here. So that's at a 40, but I feel like I feel like rolling the dice here.
40% is better than 160 maybe.
Possibly, but that one, the first one failed. So hopefully this one comes in. And I've missed again. Okay, so I get one more move. That's another thing that maybe I can mention here is that when you do your attack actions in our game, it doesn't end your turn immediately. You still have the opportunity to still move the character. So it kind of gives you the options of moving in, possibly defeating somebody, and then moving back out again. So you can see he's moved all the way in here, very, very close. And if I just step out of the area, he's going to get a free attack on me. So, but I think it's going to be a lot safer because if I just try to attack him, he's going to get the free attack anyway. So I'm going to switch over to my shield and sword again, just to try to be a little bit more evasive. And I'm going to just run for it, actually, just to see if I can get a bit of distance on him. What's going on here? Uh-oh. Here we go. And yeah, we'll just end the turn, see what happens. Hopefully he's not going to come all the way there, and he did, so that's not going to be very good for me in this first round. I'm using this skill here called Brace. It basically gives me a bigger block chance, and I'm hoping that that will maybe give me a little bit of survivability. It did not, so now I'm pretty sure I'm going to eat it in the next in his next strike, so I'm just going to try and do something. As you can see, yeah, because we didn't take a melee character, we didn't take a lot of strength, we didn't actually select a sword as a weapon there. My damage was quite low when I'm swinging the sword there. Okay, so as live, now we kind of break it up a little bit to you know, let you talk a little bit of trash with each other, and then prepare for the next round. And I am going to drop back, I think. Again, I'm going to try this strategy of ours where hopefully I get some shots in this time. 40%, 40%. Here we go. That was not terrific.
It's not the right tile.
No, that is a bit far. I have got some precision, but not the accuracy, as you can see. I'm hitting in the right spot. Okay, I'm going to. What can I do here? I guess I'm going to try and move and shoot. Sort of one of the only options I can think of doing here. It's a bit dangerous, and I moved a little bit too far actually, so I'm going to need to keep moving so that hopefully he won't be inside range of us this time. Ah, he's really on top of us. All right, it's not boding too well for me here. So I'm gonna either take an attack of opportunity from leaving or an attack of opportunity from shooting. So I'm thinking at this point blank range, maybe we're gonna get somewhere. It's not looking very good for me today. Oh, and I've missed my 85% chance. One of the things, you know, this is a true percentage setup. So when you see 85%, there is still that 15% chance you're gonna miss. I know it can drive some people a bit crazy, but we like to make sure that people really do get.
But there's no permadeath, right? So
no, that's absolutely right. So what'll happen if your character falls in combat is that when they're down, you're going to end up incurring a percentage chance to have an injury, and those injuries cause penalties throughout sort of the other elements of the game, both inside of combat and outside of combat. And if you leave them untreated, the injuries always have this chance of getting worse basically from day to day. And if you leave a character who's injured to have their wounds fester, or a sickness or those types of things get worse and worse, what will end up happening is eventually they'll die. And of course, if your player character dies, then that is one of the only absolute game over situations that we put in the game. But you know, you got to take care of them. You got to be a little bit more careful in that sort of sense. Okay, so we're down 2 shields. It's not looking great, but I feel like we can do something here. Except when we're missing like that, it's not going so well. Come on, give me a shot. Okay. I'm devastated here. Let's see what happens here.
But now I didn't get all the way up there.
Nope. Yeah, we've got a little bit of room here, which is great. What I'm thinking of doing now is just giving us a little bit of space and then trying to whittle him down if we can. I'm hoping that something good is going to come out of this. Nope, I have epically missed every shot here pretty much. This is, yes! Glory. Okay.
But it's not that much of his help.
It's not going to help too much, you're right. But I'm just going to have to try to work with it this time and see what happens. Yes, he is a very, very strong fighter, and that unfortunately means that he has... let's see if I can keep my distance from him here. Nope, I am toast. All right, well, this is actually something that's kind of fun, because often when I play a melee character, so I blast through this really, really quickly, and normally then we would see what happens when I succeed as a player in this particular combat. And what we're going to see now is actually what's going to happen if I fail. And this is sort of a branching point in the story where by succeeding you get a certain number of options, by failing and a completely different outcome happens, and basically the story changes at this stage. And we have a number of situations where that happens in the game, where your decisions are going to end up influencing things that happen for the remainder of the game on a very, very sort of permanent way. So
this means that he leads the clan now? Or?
Well, here we go. Let's see what happens. I will do the play-by-play so that we don't have to sit here and read the entire thing. Aslife has said basically that he has proved himself in battle to be the leader, and he asks if I'm going to accept that outcome. But before I can even do anything, our dear friend Cadel, the hunter, has snuck up behind him and then stabbed him in the back. Yes. So
that's one way to win.
Things get a little dark here. So what happens basically is that Cadel, who cannot accept this outcome, comes to your defense, kills Aslife, and then because Aslife's friends are there, they draw and come to attack, and your friends end up killing them all as well. And then we get drafted with this option, another dramatic choice here, which is basically, do we kill Cadel, one of our dearest and closest friends, for ruining the honor of this sacred event? Do we spare him, or do we keep it kind of quiet, or do we spare him and well, threaten him with if anybody finds out, basically bad things happening? So I've decided to spare him. He is our dear friend, and he makes some mistakes, but I think that maybe we're going to need him later, in the battles to come. So I'm going to have to keep somebody trustworthy like that. I mean, trustworthy at least on our part, but maybe not so much for our enemies. Anyway, so yeah, so I think that's maybe a good place to take a little break here if you want to chat a bit more.
I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, great.
What's the roadmap ahead with the game?
So we're looking at presenting a couple of events publicly coming up. So we're going to be at Rezzed in the UK next month, as well as PAX East over in Boston, or here in Boston because we're in the States right now. And then after that, we're looking at putting out some preview codes in the middle of May, as well as doing some closed beta work with people. If they're interested, they can join us, or ask about it on Twitter or on Facebook, and follow us on our newsletter. We're going to have some beta code giveaways. We'd love to give you guys some of those too to share with your viewers.
All right. And release at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. Release will be fall of this year.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for coming by. Nice to see you guys.